FA Cup final appearance for Middlesbrough when they contested the 1997 showpiece with Chelsea, but it was a second Wembley date of the season for the North East club, having already been beaten in the League Cup final a month before. To compound the disappointment of that loss, Middlesbrough, managed by Brian Robson, had also been relegated from the Premier League ahead of their meeting with a Chelsea side led by Ruud Gullit and seeking just a second FA Cup triumph, the first having come in 1970 against Leeds United. Your commentators at Wembley, Trevor Brooking and John Motson.
Let's have a look once more at the team lineups. By my reckoning, only 9 Englishmen out of the 22 who start. That's a record. Chelsea have just 4, and 3 of them, Sinclair, Newton and the captain Wise, are survivors of the team beaten here by Manchester United 3 years ago. Well, Middlesbrough have 5 Englishmen, and 2 of those, the goalkeeper Ben Roberts and number 20 Phil Stamp, are the youngest players in this final at the age of 21. Neither played in the Coca-Cola final here 6 weeks ago, but Ben Roberts did tell me before the match he played here once as a schoolboy. And Mr. Lodge, with Middlesbrough playing from right to left in the first half, starts the 1997 FA Cup final. And immediately it's clear that Curtis Fleming is playing on the left side for Middlesbrough at left back, and Clayton Blackmore seems to have started on the right. And there goes Juninho, being marked by Steve Clarke. Robbie Mustoe battling with Dennis Wise. Now the first sign of Chelsea on the attack with Di Matteo. Oh, and a good run up front by Hughes, and Di Matteo shoots! Oh, what about this? What about this? It's possibly the quickest ever goal in a Wembley Cup final. It's Roberto Di Matteo inside 45 seconds. An unbelievable start by Chelsea. Gullit scratches his head. Possibly he can't believe it either. The Italian Di Matteo in Chelsea's first attack has struck a shot into the roof of the Middlesbrough net, and this could be an historic moment in cup finals at Wembley. The quickest goal before today. Look at the shot. It fizzes over Ben Roberts into the net. The quickest goal before today, Jackie Milburn in 45 seconds for Newcastle in 1955. We'll have to check it, but I think that may be quicker. This is Emerson. Certainly it's come very, very close. And Middlesbrough find themselves a goal down in the first minute. And there goes Juninho, he's offside, and at last a chance for Trevor to talk about the goal.
Well, it's a good strike by Di Matteo. He picked it up right on the halfway line, kept running and running. You see Mark Hughes has taken Fester and Pearson away. It's dipped over the top of Roberts, underneath the crossbar. He's in the middle of the goal, but on the edge of the 6-yard box. He isn't the tallest. It has dipped very late. Fallen backwards perhaps a little bit as well, but you know, questions will be asked in the middle of the goal, quite honestly. But it's just a great strike, but the worst possible start for a Middlesbrough team that must have been shaken by that opening. Goodness me.
Here's Ravanelli. Phil Stamp is in there. Emerson's well forward. Corner's been given.
I think it was a gentle little nudge by Stamp, but it wasn't spotted. Having going back to saying an early goal perhaps is not a bad thing. I don't believe that. I much prefer to be in Chelsea's situation, having got that early start. It's a big test now for Middlesbrough mentally to try and lift themselves after all what they've been through the last month. Pearson
and Fester are in there waiting. As Emerson tries to get to it, and in the end it was Pearson, the captain, who got his head to the ball. Wasn't so far away, was it? Mustoe. Juninho. Lovely turn. Oh, and Stamp was the player running through.
That wasn't far away from a great ball.
Here's Petrescu in midfield for Chelsea. Di Matteo. Scott Minto making a forward run, and there's danger here for Middlesbrough. And Minto got into the striking position and came close to making it 2. This is Fleming, leaving it for Emerson. On the far side is Blackmore. Juninho looks for Ravanelli, that's his sort of pass. Sinclair got a foot to it, Kronos comes out. Good defending against Ravanelli by Frank Sinclair.
He's struggling, Ravanelli's gone. The first time he had to move with any pace, it's gone again.
Here it was, Sinclair did enough to get in front of him, but here come Chelsea, it's Petrescu! And out from almost under the bar by Nigel Pearson. Well, this is all going Chelsea's way. Middlesbrough are a man light and they could have been 2 down. No offside given here against Dan Petrescu. Pearson saves Middlesbrough. Middlesbrough want to get a substitute on. It's obviously going to be Mikel Beck, who was left out of the starting lineup to replace Ravanelli. In the meantime, Musto has gone across to the touchline as well. And there's the cross from Wise. Musto went across to have a word with the Middlesbrough coaches, but he wasn't actually doing very much to help defend that corner. However, we have got Mikel Beck on the field in place of Fabrizio Ravanelli. That's the Middlesbrough change, forward by Musto.
I do think Robbie Musto got a knock very early in the game. Whether he's worried about that and whether he's struggling also. I mean, look, there's a bit of activity going on the bench. That would be an additional blow. He is hobbling out wide. I think he's going to go off.
Yes, they've got another serious concern here, Middlesbrough. It was no wonder he wasn't defending the corner. He's obviously injured as well. And so, oh, dear me, Middlesbrough's season seems to be absolutely riddled with bad luck at the moment. Or ill fortune, however you want to put it. This is Juninho. And now Stamp. And it's still Phil Stamp. In the midst of all that hectic activity, Pearson made a clearance on his own goal line to prevent it going to 2-0. Musto is clearly hurt. He's hobbling and was hardly able to collect that ball and pass it. Well, no sooner had Ravanelli gone off than Middlesbrough had to prepare another substitute. And he's still waiting. Here's Wise. So Steve Vickers is preparing to join the action. The ball hasn't gone out of play since Musto made his injury known. Newton for Chelsea to Wise, and they are dictating things, the London side, at the moment, as Middlesbrough try to reorganise. Beck. It was Musto who bravely made that challenge. Juninho across to Blackmore. Stamp is forward with Beck. They're the two. Sinclair heads out for Chelsea. Hughes can't find Zola. This is Fester. Now Blackmore. Headed on towards Hignett. Well, Brian Robson chose not to name a substitute goalkeeper. He was hard-pressed to do so, actually, but he might be glad now that he's got 3 outfield players on there, because he's going to have to use 2 of them, at least. Here's Zola, but they still can't get the 11th man on. That's Zola with the pass. Steve Vickers, solid footballer who normally operates in the back 4, but he's coming on here for a midfield player. Sinclair. Di Matteo. Now here's Beck, and he's onside, and Gronos swiftly off his line, and a good throw by the goalkeeper to Petrescu to turn defence into attack for Chelsea. Not for long. Juninho. Tackled by Leboeuf. Emerson overhits it.
Overhits it, goodness me, that was a pass back.
Di Matteo got a foot in, so did Newton, so did Hughes. Nice pass. Petrescu, he's on his own at the moment. Four Middlesbrough defenders funneling back. Dan Petrescu having to hold up and find Zola. Nobody was too quick to help him until the suddenly emerged. And he was bundled over by Hignett, says the referee. And Hignett seems to feel that Leboeuf made far too much of this.
The pass was just a bit behind. He tried to cut across him, and I must say, I don't think he did much wrong there.
We've had the 45 minutes. Middlesbrough are forming the wall. Zola is coming in now. There's the curler! Ben Roberts responding well. Going to his left. And in stoppage time, Chelsea have a corner.
It was a long way out. It was a good strike, but one that he had time to get across.
Sinclair not sure with his clearance. Juninho onto the ball fast. And as we go into the second minute of stoppage time, Middlesbrough have a corner, which will bring Vickers, who's good at these, into the penalty area, and also Pearson. Vickers has got his arms up. It went over his head to Festa, and now it's going to come out to Stamp. Back in towards Festa with the header. The whistle's gone, offside. It won't count as the equaliser. The linesman of the far side is flagging. Brian Robson's team have not equalised. David Crick, the assistant referee, flags here. It's chipped in by Stamp. Well, it's a flag up against Festa. It can only be him.
That was a very marginal offside. It could have been just beyond. Nothing wrong with the challenge, and the header was a great header, and that will be one to debate during the half-time.
Not half. It was very close. Brian Robson, just for a few seconds, thought his team were back in it, despite having to make two changes. Chelsea go into the dressing room at half-time, still leading. Chelsea now playing from the right. Here's Mikael Beck. And as you said, the only sub left to Brian Robson now is Vladimir Kinder, the Slovakian international, who is, by definition, a defender. This is Blackmore. In it goes to Juninho. Touched on for Festa, whose effort was wiped out. Now Fleming. Oh, Emerson got a foot in there. First time we've heard the Chelsea fans chorus the blue flag. Hughes. Petrescu's made a good run. This is Di Matteo. Zola's gone to his right. There's Zola coming in from the other side. Zola away by Vickers.
Good defending, good covering by Vickers. Great run by Zola. Gets past Curtis Fleming. Comes inside the goalkeeper, but it's Vickers covering. He's done well since he's come on.
Here's Zola's cross away by Fleming. Leboeuf was in there. Juninho's got it away from Newton and from Di Matteo. It's still Juninho. It's a great run, and Di Matteo has brought him down. right on the D. That's a bookable offence by the Italian on the Brazilian. But Emerson's complaining they're not 10 yards back. Referee agrees. Now, it looks like Juninho. It was Juninho into the wall and fired back in by Blackmore. Sinclair. Zola. Still the Italian. And Dan Petrescu again. They've got three lined up here. The whistle's gone. There's a flag again on the far side from the assistant referee as Hughes attempted the spectacular. This is Hignett. He's got three up with him at the moment. And again the flag goes up. Nico Beck this time.
It must be frustrating because they're not even marginal, they're yards offside.
Maybe Chelsea decided to play a flat-back form rather than their normal wing-back system because they thought they could catch Middlesbrough like that.
Yeah, I think a little bit of emotion came from Brian Robson there. Not a happy bunny.
Here's Hughes. Pearson had to back off. Hughes volleyed it as you knew he would. Always has been the man for the big occasion. They talk about his record in cup finals, Mark Hughes, but it was a semi-final here that he scored one of his most dramatic goals. Do you remember against Oldham, a minute from the end? Kept the dream of the double alive for Manchester United 3 years ago. It's Middlesbrough's throw. Blackmore has the ball. Looks for Beck. Flick on. Leboeuf has to be careful. Oh! He was almost the opposite. Festa, whose header into the net was disallowed right on half-time, was Borough's big threat there.
Well, he went over these people's heads and really just trying to bring it down with his shins. It goes between them.
"20 minutes of the 90 remaining. Middlesbrough coming forward, looking for an equaliser. Curtis Fleming. Festa is well forward in this attack. This is Juninho, away from Leboeuf. It's Juninho. Anything can happen from here. He's gone down, play on, Emerson. It's still on for Middlesbrough, Emerson still. And Leboeuf does intercept in the end. And Di Matteo finds Zola. Now there are spaces. Suddenly, the field has opened up a bit. Zola going on his own. He's got Hughes the other way. He's taking on Vickers and Blackmore. He's gone past them both. It's Zola. Hughes pulling towards the near post now. It's still Zola. Fantastic run. Great save by Ben Roberts. Zola's box of tricks is opened again. And he nearly conjured something out of nothing for Chelsea. Stamp makes a run in from this side. Newton wins it for Chelsea, but for how long? Juninho. Oh, he does get onto the ball quickly in those situations. And they've had to surround him with blue shirts, and in doing so, there's a foul. It's Steve Clark picking himself and Juninho up. It's a free kick to Borough. Vickers has gone forward, wants it played early. Juninho saw him, and he's through Vickers. And a great stop by Grodos. Chelsea was sleeping. The quickness of thought by Juninho and Vickers. Juninho, there goes Festa. This is Zola. Minto. Wise. And Chelsea come away again with Newton. Petrescu is to the right, so is Hughes. This is Petrescu, and he's gone for the far corner, and Zola came in, and it's there! It's Eddie Newton. It's Eddie Newton for Chelsea. It's 2-0. And it looks like Chelsea's cup now. Brian Robson, solemn-faced, and Eddie Newton, who doesn't get many goals, but who was so anxious to do well today after what happened to him in the last cup final and indeed with a long injury. He was in the right place there, and Chelsea really had players up. It was Newton who set the thing through, and when Petrescu went for the far post, Zola here makes his contribution. What a side-footer back. Here's Vickers. And it got offside, Beck. Offside, again the Middlesbrough header goes in the net, again the flag is up, and again Trevor Brooking has no argument.
I think that sums up the day and also part of the season, because late on, there they are, clearly offside. They've got the whole of the 18-yard box, they can see what's in front of them, and still they stand there, and that is very naive and basic.
Here he comes. Zola's going to come off to make way for his fellow Italian. Zola has shaken hands with one or two Middlesbrough players. Having made the second goal, Zola leaves the field to a tremendous ovation from the Chelsea fans. But wait, will we see an even bigger one for Vialli, who's remained a great favourite at Stamford Bridge? Listen to this. Here's Leboeuf. Dennis Wise asks the referee, and it's a moment for Chelsea to cherish. Their first major trophy for 26 years. In Ruud Gullit's first season as coach. But there will be a torrent of tears again on Teesside. Eddie Newton, who clinched it. The blue flags are waved. There's ecstasy at one end of the stadium. And applause all round. And the Dutchman has, thanks to an Italian partly, with a first-minute goal that will always be remembered, has brought a trophy to Stamford Bridge. They've waited a long time. The 5'6" Chelsea captain is 10 feet tall. The club nearest to London's West End at last fulfil their fashionable reputation. Chelsea lift the FA Cup for the very first time at Wembley.